Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you about this podcast. It's called The DK Project, but it's really The Darren Show. The DK Project is a radio show, but without the radio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Let's go! Welcome back to your fireworks leader. It's the 4th of July. This is what us as Americans wait for all year long. This is like the sweet spot of summer, the 4th of July. Welcome back, Kristin. Are you at some place where you're going to see excessive amounts of explosions and sparklers and twisters and all that fun shit?
Well, I saw them a couple of days ago in Astoria on Tuesday, but I think I'm going to Long Island, or as my friends who live over there call it Strong Island, for the day to spend the night, celebrate a birthday and the 4th of July out there. So we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah,
you know
and then they have a pool, so it's like, okay, I'll come.
Oh, hell yeah. Have you guys been on the excessive heat wave? We've had some heat.
It has been, I met up with, like I said, some of my friends the other day, and when this one girl was like, I put on makeup, and I said, it's going to melt off your face. Why would you even put makeup on? It's been disgusting now. I've been in my room with the curtains closed. Look, I've been in like a deep depression just to keep my room cold with the AC on. So it's been pretty rough. I'm not going to lie.
What the hell? Hey, so I don't have any big plans at all, which I actually kind of like. And today was going to be my day off. And now I actually have more work to do than I do on a normal day.
Oh.
It's been a crazy week in the voiceover world. And I got to tell you, I've been in it for a little while now, but I got to turn my phone over. I keep getting all these messages. I turned it off, but I still get the messages. So this week it's just been nuts, recording this, that, and the other thing, and you know, you do all these commercials and explainers and all these things for voiceover. But today was the first day I had that aha moment where I'm doing a voiceover for Ice-O-Matic, and I'm like, it's an app to help people figure out why their ice machine is broken. Like it's for ice machine technicians. And I'm like thinking to myself as I'm recording this and doing my little spiel, I'm like, who's the voice of Ice-O-Matic? It's me. It's me. I'm the Ice-O-Matic guy. Like what? And maybe it's just because it's such a weird, quirky name, Ice-O-Matic. But I'm like sitting there thinking to myself, oh man, I'm the Ice-O-Matic guy. How about that? Ice-O-Matic, baby. But yeah, we had a crazy week with recording stuff, all kinds of fun voiceover stuff this week. It was a good time. But I want to give you a little update on the now 30-year-old Jesus Palomino he went out to Salt Lake City, and man, I tried every which way but loose to get out there. But my calendar blew up, and I actually found decent airfare that I could tolerate.
Yeah.
And but I just couldn't swing it. And it was like, oh man, it seemed like so much fun. But he kind of also, I talked to my mom about it, and my mom's like, I think he wants to travel alone. Like, I think he wants to have this time to himself. And I'm like, well,
I respect that.
The way that he's responding to my emails and my calls, I'm guessing that's true because he ain't returning them. So I actually went in and I just told him, hey, I can't swing it, because really I couldn't. I literally, today was going to be a day that I was going to celebrate the long weekend, but I'm going to be here till 6. And so there's just no way I could have swung it. But he's been posting pictures, and we've been talking a lot, and he's having a great time. It looks amazing. I've never been.
That's great. Good for him.
It really looks cool. But I got to tell you, I went through and I'm like, like I said, I'm just going to send him the money that I was going to spend on a ticket and whatever. So I shot him some money via the Cash App. Everybody's Venmo and I'm like, I tried setting up a Venmo and whatever. They don't want me, I don't think. And so I shot him some money via the Cash App. And I know I've sent him money that way before because my ass forgets birthdays and Christmas. So I'll just Venmo him and be like, hey, happy birthday,
Yeah.
Or not Venmo, I'll Cash App him. There, I caught myself. And so I actually sent him this money via the Cash App. And he's like, oh, I've never used that app. I'm like, what are you talking about? I send you money that way all the time. Not all the time, but I have.
Yeah. You have.
And so we're going back and forth on it. And he's like, and I wanted him to like, hey, just go piss this away. Have some fun with it, And And so he texts me and he's like, yeah, it didn't come through yet. I'm like, you don't even see it? He's like, no, I see it, but I can't get it. Like, it's not there. So I'm like, whatever, and it's an app. So it's, it's not as easy and as friendly as the Isomatic app. And so we're going back and forth. And pretty soon it's like, all of a sudden yesterday, like, what was yesterday, the first, so the day after, he's like, hey, that money never came through. So I went in and looked. Attempt failed. I literally was working on it for probably 45 minutes last night, sending him money, waiting for it to fail, sending him money, fail.
Oh, my gosh.
And then back and forth. And I think what it is they have these security measures in place so that you can't just randomly send to anybody. You have to, so it was really weird. So meanwhile, I got, this chunk going out of my account because they take it out of your account until they verify the deal, and then they'll put it back in your account.
Okay.
So I'm like,
okay. Wow.
5 transactions of a decent number. I'm like, come on. But we finally figured it out, and I'm like,
well, good.
I'm like, now go piss it away. Luckily, he's 2 hours behind in the time zone, so he was able to get out and get nuts. I'm like, no, that's not for bills. I said, that's for fun.
Yeah. Why don't you try to Zelle him?
Sell
you
who?
should Zelle. So Zelle is easy. It's right through your bank, so you get the money right away.
Well, that's what Cash App is. I don't know. I'm thinking
sometimes with the Cash App or with there could be a delay, or they make you pay like a little percentage so you get your money quicker. They might take like 5%.
Oh,
or like
yeah.
10%. Yeah.
But Zelle doesn't do that?
No, Zelle is just straight through your bank, and you can go through it through your email. When you have to go into your cash on your bank app, go through your email or go through their phone number.
Hey, until Zelle starts cutting us a little money, let's not kind of give them an advertisement. Jesus. We charge people for that shit. We don't give it away for free.
That's true. I mean,
but if Zelle's interested, hit me up. So now the update on, I played golf yesterday. I've been trying to get out on Thursdays with my little man. Okay. Get out, swing the clubs. And yesterday, my 21-year-old was going to go with us. We were going to go in the afternoon because we're going to play this course that has amazing Bloody Marys. Best Bloody Mary on the face of the earth. And so we go, it's hotter than shit. And we go out to play, and I'm like, one Bloody Mary in. We go up there, and my 21-year-old's like, hey, can my buddy come with? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. That makes 4. Now we're good. So we get out there, and it's like, then you're in that awkward who pays situation, like, you're 21, maybe you should pay, whatever. So I'm like, whatever, I paid for everything. And my son, my 21-year-old is 21, and his buddy's gonna be 21. And my son's like, hey, do you think I can get us a couple beers? I'm like, I don't care what you do. You're 21. Do whatever you want. Yeah. And so he gets a couple beers, and I made him pay for the first Bloody Mary. Ooh. And he got a quick dose of how expensive drinks are at a golf course. But we're playing, and it's just hotter than hell. And I'm like, man, we could use another round. And I'm like, fuck, then I got to buy for everybody. Like... and it's not a big a deal, but it's something that when I'm playing with the 15-year-old, it's like we get 2 waters and we go all day. Where now I'm like, oh, it's so fun to have everybody with, but I got to like friggin', cover everybody, which is fine. We had a blast, sweated my ass off. It was actually, my dad died 15 years ago, I think. And yesterday was his birthday, or would have been his birthday. So we took his clubs, because that's what my sons use, are his clubs. So we went out and played, thought it was kind of a neat deal, and it was cool. My game's not getting better. I think it's getting worse.
Why?
It should get better, right? I mean,
but really, how much do you play though? Like, I mean,
you know what?
That's the thing.
I'm in a very unique situation in that I have a very flexible schedule, and my wife actually said, go play golf. Like, you need a hobby where you exercise. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then the 15-year-old and I are like, hey, let's go golf. So, all right. Well, we have this one course. It's just a shit track out here, but it's cheap and it's close and it's a public course, but we call it the country club because we go there all the time. So I told the little man, I'm like, hey, let's go to the country club. And so we go there, and he makes a 9 o'clock tee time because he likes to sleep in. And we get there, and I'm like, all right, you said I could golf, but I should really walk. We only play 9 holes. I'm like, we should walk. I should walk because, I need the exercise. Yeah. So I go in there, and we've played there a lot. Well, not a lot. This, like once a year probably, but now we've been playing a lot. But
Yes.
So I go in there, and this lady, she's like, "Are you getting a cart?" I'm like, "No, we're walking." She goes, "Have you been here before?" I said, "Yeah, I play here a lot." And she goes, "And you're going to walk?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to get the exercise." And then I looked at her, and I'm like, "Are you telling me something here?" And she's like, "Well," I didn't say it, but I was thinking, what are you saying?
Yes.
She's looking at me going, a guy your size probably isn't going to do too well walking this thing.
Yes.
And holy shit bags. I had to go home and shower. It was hot. And the whole course is uphill. It's just a goat track where you're totally uphill all the time. So I wanted to go back and tell that lady, try not to be so nice next time. Make sure I take a cart. Because the shit ain't safe. I could die.
I walked for 5 minutes the other day and I was no lie, dripping in sweat. And I went to go get Dunkin' and I was like, never mind. I walked back and I was like, curtains closed, laying in the bed, not doing anything.
I don't need that donut that bad.
I don't need, and I got a donut too. I'm like, I don't need it that bad. Yeah, it's been pretty. Today it's been it's been raining. It's supposed to be 70s, which I'm totally fine with today. I'll take the cool down for a couple of days.
Hell yeah. I think we're okay today. Tomorrow and the next couple of days are going to be a little brutal.
You guys got whatever. They're sending us all alerts on our phone saying try not to really use things we don't have to, like our ACs or our microwaves. And I'm like, if we live in New York, you most likely have an AC. I need my AC. I'm not going to sit in my hot apartment and not have my AC on,
That's crazy.
Come on. You can't tell New Yorkers that.
Come on.
You're rich unless you have Central Air, then you're rich. So.
I get that with the watering band. You go to these golf courses and it looks, the ones we play, look like they're just all burnt to shit. Like there was a fire and it's like, no, we just can't afford to water. It's like, all right, we'll pretend we're playing in Arizona. A little hot here. Hey, I had a neat deal come up. We were trying to book a guest, and I normally don't talk about the behind-the-scenes stuff, but this is kind of interesting, and it has a couple of twists.
Yes.
So I have a guy who connects me with some people like Tommy Chung or whomever to be on the show, and he goes around and he looks for guests. Like he's brought some that, no, I'm good. I don't want to talk to that person or whatever. Well, he brings up this dude who I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. And it's a guy from Revenge of the Nerds. And very nerd of the nerds, And I'm like, oh, that might be kind of fun. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So he gets back to me and he goes, hey, you got to contact this guy directly. He doesn't, it doesn't work on the go through. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I contact the guy directly. And he goes, yeah, let's get it scheduled. Sounds great. He goes, but I don't know that I've been paid yet. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't pay. And he goes, yeah, we normally get paid. I'm like, oh, well, I booked this through, so-and-so. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know. Let me check. So then, this is all via email. So he gets back to me and he goes, yeah, I checked and no, I haven't been paid. I'm like, oh, well, how much do you charge? And he goes, $30. I'm like, well,
30.
I'm sorry, you aren't that interesting that I'm going to drop $30.
$30, but he's stressing about $30 as well too.
That's just it.
Wow, really?
So I'm digging around, and I'm like, all of a sudden this little article pops up, and it says, Grease actor Eddie Deason is dropped by his manager for being immoral and sexist after he's accused of being a creep and harassing a waitress.
Wow.
The waitress, Cara Blah, recently took to Twitter on July 21st and blasted Deason for referring to his since-deleted Facebook post. In the post, Deason described her as a sweet and innocent waitress in the opening lines with a like a WHI**E in the following sentence, whatever the hell that means.
Okay.
So anyway, my contact gets back to me and he goes, hey, you should talk about this. This guy turns out he wants $30 and he's a creep. I'm like, all right, well, we'll look at it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's somewhat interesting, but not nothing we're gonna break down. So anyway, this whole mess he had escalated, and he's 64 years old. He should know better. So anyway, it turns out that it escalated and it got ugly, and they were, F this creep, F that creep, and so his manager dumped him. And I was doing some show prep yesterday, and I'm like, well, I should probably read this and see what we're getting into.
Yeah.
And it turns out that his manager is this a-hole that I used to have contact with to do some manager stuff for me. and he dropped him. So I'm thinking these two buckets of crap must be a real tandem because once I read into it, and he's not a manager, he's a scam artist that takes your money to do what I was just crazy. Yeah. But I was just like, what an interesting twist, because it started off as he wanted $30 and then it turned into, here's a story about him. Then it turned into, the manager who fired him is a guy I know. It's like, holy shit, what a small world, man.
Wow.
So anyway, all of you people who are waiting for Eddie the Nerd Deason to come on, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I got $30 to spend on something else. Hey, in the news this week, the Pudding King is back.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Mr. Pudding in a Cloud. You know what? I went online because I knew I was going to bring it up, and I was going to look for it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't find an isolated version of that on YouTube, just the crappy one he said on his way out of court. But did you see this story? I'm not even 100% sure, but all of a sudden they looked at something, and it wasn't admissible in court. Yeah. So, boom, he's out?
Yeah, he's out, and I was reading. It says this also banned. So, and actually, since he's been released, it said the court will also ban future prosecution on these particular charges. So, anyone else that would come forward it's not even going to matter anymore. So, basically, do I believe that all women are telling the truth? No, I believe that some things really did happen. But it's the fact that he's getting away with all of this, and there's really nothing happening to him in the end.
60 women, right? 60.
Yeah. 60 women, 60 women.
That's absolutely insane.
And it's scary, and it really tells you what our system is all about, that this guy can go and do all these horrible things, and he's really not held accountable for any of it at the end of the day, and that's what's very scary, especially being a woman out here.
It is absolutely crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm lifelong ride or die comedy guy. I watch a lot of comedy, big fan, and it's disgusting that this is all happening to him. Obviously, if you're a bad guy, whatever. Yeah. But just, some of the first comedy albums I ever listened to were Cosby. And just the way he worked, and he was clean, and he was funny as hell, and it was just, I remember sitting there, and I never owned records. I'm old, but I just never owned records. I knew better technology was coming, so I never owned records. But I did. My parents had the Bill Cosby albums, and it's like, and you just hate to see something like that tarnished. And now this weird twist comes in. But there's no way 60 women are bullshitting. I think there is I think there's a lot of truth to a lot of the women, but I feel like some are just saying it just to get, I feel like some will always creep out to get like the little limelight, to be a part of it. But I do believe he did majority of what's been put out there for sure. And his wife is his television wife is getting backlash too, because she was tweeting like in support that he's innocent, he didn't do all this stuff, and now people are getting upset with her as well. Like, how can you like back him up, stand up for him? Clearly you're not supporting women. It is true. It's like you're very happy that he's out, and you're not even believing that half these women, half these women are telling the truth, and it's really sad too. So I think this is going to start affecting her career as well because of it. Does she have a career?
Yeah, she did for a little bit. I know like last time I seen her like in a Tyler Perry movie, but I think she's more behind the scenes than she is on camera anymore.
Oh, a Tyler Perry movie.
It is your face.
I must have missed that one. Oops.
Well.
Hey, speaking of which, I know on the show I've talked before about speaking of comedy, I know on the show before I've talked about my culmination of my 15 minutes of comedy routine that I've been putting together over some time. I come up with a funny bit and I just make notes of it. And I have this huge long, I don't know, it's probably 3 pages at this point of little bits and jokes that I've come across along the way. And the other day I was sitting there and I was kind of bored. I'm like, maybe I should run through what a set would look like. Like which of these jokes would I actually put together? So I start looking into it, and I'm formulating all of the things that, I just start at the top and I start reading them, and they're all segmented in paragraphs. And I could make out like what two of them were. Like the notes are so cryptic. I don't even know what they are. So the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I've got this whole comedic set put together that, I memorize a few of these and I, put a little twist on them, spruce them up. Fuck, I got to start over. Like, I don't even know that any of it's usable. I think it's all just, it's like how my brain works. Here's this run through my head right now, jot it down. Well, then I jot it down and it's like, translation, please. Like, I don't even know what that says. So I'm really pissed because I really it's like you've been keeping a journal for years and now all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I don't even, it was an invisible pen. Like it just disappeared. There's no journal left. It's gone. God. So,
it is the word. It's too funny.
I don't think Mr. Cosby's got to worry about me stealing his limelight anytime soon because my comedy's gone. I'll have to wing it. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, other news, Nug.
Yes.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Lost Lake Creamery, located in Mound in the Harbor District. If you're on the bike, it's off the Dakota Trail. If you're in the boat, it's on the north end of Cooks Bay. Just look for the Lost Lake Channel. Plenty of parking provided by the city. If you're by car, 5575 Shoreline Drive. Stop in, 24 flavors of hard scooped ice cream, old-fashioned ice cream parlor. Make sure to stop in and see us. Who's the contractor that's called in to fix the less experienced contractor's mistakes? Who's the contractor who gets approval from the insurance company even after the homeowner has been denied? Who's the contractor that has worked in our community and for our community for decades? Grady Restoration. Roofing, siding, windows, and gutters. Call us today for a free home estimate. Grady Restoration. They'll get the job done in a timely fashion. The average roof lasts about 20 years, but you may have storm damage that you can't see, or you may need more repairs than your insurance says they'll pay for. In fact, 92% of homeowners accept what the insurance company tells them, which could cause much bigger problems down the line. Let Grady Restoration help you get what you deserve. Call today for a free home inspection. For roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, call Grady Restoration at 952-472-1570 or look them up on the web at gradyrestoration.com. Welcome back to the DK Project. It's morning. I got to get into my coffee. Another news nug. Mrs. Spears.
Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think Brittany Spears, she's gone through the thing where, boom, superstar. They made her out to be like, to entice men. Like she was, I don't know how you say that. Like made her look way more older and way more sexy than she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then she made all this money. And they somehow she went through a little breakdown or something, and they put her,
which was completely normal. It would be understandable as well too.
Well, it's not. She was a Mouseketeer and shit. Like she's been in it her whole life.
Yeah.
But then they threw her on lithium, which that's next
insane.
level shit.
Yeah.
So she's basically been, in a weird place for a long time.
Well, they've controlled her her dad has pretty much controlled her whole life.
And I apologize. I didn't dig too deep into this story because
it's pretty serious.
But yeah. So basically, they put a conservatorship on it, which means they've taken over control of her finances, her living situation, everything.
How she can't have kids, like all that stuff. She can't even go down the street without asking permission with her boyfriend. I mean, it's very serious.
But now it's come to light that almost like someone or she has realized that, hey, I've been held captive on this deal, and they've had me drugged. Where lithium is what they give to people who are bipolar, which, I don't know if she's bipolar. I don't know what her deal is, but to think that she was able to be that successful and, concerts and talk on shows and shit. And all of a sudden now you're in something where you need to be taking care of that heavily.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just crazy.
It's sad.
What have you seen and what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's just like they forced her to put an IUD in so she can't have kids anymore. They will not let her take it out. Like I said, she's not allowed to go down the street without asking permission. I mean, she has to work when they say she has to work. I mean, it's very scary.
That's it's her dad still, or is it her boyfriend?
It's her dad. It's her dad that's in control. That's why she said, I put on this fake smile for all these years. I'm not okay. And then she's starting to really speak out. And it's just very sad that people have way more traumatic breakdowns than her, and they weren't ever in the situation. So how is it only she's the one that's getting sort of like punished because of her mini breakdown? She shaved her head, tried to ram an umbrella into a car and had to live. Yeah, but like when you're in that light from a young age and you're a puppet and they're controlling you and telling you what to do, how to wear, how to talk, how to dress. It's a lot. I think, especially just as a female, I would feel horrible if I was not allowed to dictate anything in my life anymore, and they're still taking your money from you, which is really, really sad. She doesn't have a life.
But does that then come back to where it could be criminal charges or something? Like they got to be taking all the money.
Well, she's trying to get where she doesn't want them to get away. Her dad, whoever else has been involved in this, to get away with that. And I think she is going to pursue, or she's pursuing legal action against them as well now too, because of it.
But so that's got to be a real son of a bitch when you think about the fact that, they've deemed you to be unfit to take care of yourself, and now you're taking legal action against them for overpowering you. Oh my gosh, bibbity bobbity boop. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on, because I think truly, I don't know how someone can do what she does. And I mean, although, you know what? Look at Bill Cosby. We just talked about him. You thought, the pudding in a clown guy, pudding in a cloud guy is he's out there taking advantage of women and stuff. So you never know. I mean, there's a lot of skeletons in the closet, but to think that she's in a position where she needs full-time conservatorship, I don't know. That is so extra and dramatic on so many levels. It's just really what it boils down to. I think it's just the money part. They just want to have her take her money and have her money and be in control like that. But she has so much money. I think it'd be a thing where if they're like, hey, why don't you cut me off a couple slices? You know what I mean? Like once you get to a certain numbers of millions, hey, you're my dad. Here's whatever, But
he wants more. He's probably greedy. He wants more because once that little bit of money starts coming around, no one wants to give that money up.
Wow,
it's an addiction.
Yeah, but she doesn't have like I think I can make it money. She has like, I'm not bending over to pick up 100 because it ain't worth my time money.
Yeah, especially when she's performing in Vegas. You know how much they make when they start performing out there with all those shows. It's insane.
Right. Yeah. So, cut him enough so he doesn't, he's her dad. So how much could he need? Here's 10 million. Yeah. Don't ever call me again. Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so weird. I don't think we've seen the end of that. I think that's going to blow up and be a big mess because she she's huge. Notoriety. Mm-hmm. She's very famous. She's a big deal. Yeah, and I just thought it was sad because I don't, I don't understand that world, and I don't want to understand it. But it popped up this week, and I thought it was worth giving a look because it really makes you think, just like that, boom. Oh, you're taking over? Come on.
Yeah.
And you see these movies and shit, and people are like, we don't deem them, responsible or capable of taking care of themselves, and then all of a sudden your world is turned upside down. It's crazy. Hey, I had a couple things come up this week. I heard something and I really kind of liked it. So, it sounds a little funny, but just ride along for a second here. This is
okay.
This
I'm
is
nervous.
No. This is and in New York where you're at. Mm-hmm. So. When you go to, if you drive a car that you care about and you go to a parking lot and you park your car and you're like, hey, you know what? I don't want to park next to that car because they look like they don't give a shit and that's going to give me door dings and scratches and I don't want that. So you end up parking it in the back and all of a sudden, everybody's pulling in and somebody throws her in sideways or somebody throws it in an angle, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
So this week I heard the answer to the problem and I'm like...
I need to hear this.
How can you fix this problem? So somebody had brought up the fact that if we were to implement car dealership parking in parking lots. Car dealership parking is whenever you're parking cars at a dealership, in order to space them out correctly, You put the left tires of your car on the left white line.
Okay.
So rather than allowing you to determine where the middle of that space is, because you're not going to figure it out. People aren't that smart. They can't judge middle. And then they're too freaking lazy to back it up and straighten it out and get it in the middle. But if your job is to put the left tires on the left line, everything's going to be spaced out beautifully. Oh.
I'm like,
how about that?
Okay.
Are you following what I'm putting down? Everybody's going to be spaced out exactly the way they should be. You're never going to get a door ding.
Yeah,
so now here comes the problem. How do we tell the billions of people who drive in the United States that this is the way we're going to go?
There's no way. No one's going to listen.
Well, that's just
I mean, no one wants to even get a vaccine shot. So what is that?
They won't even do something that their life depends on. Do you think they're going to straighten out their parking?
I'm like, no one's going to care. I've seen people,
I'm not doing that shit.
Cleveland, Ohio. Well, I was visiting one time. The guy parked his back right rear tire up on the sidewalk, and so his back right rear tire is up on the sidewalk, and the other half is on the street. And that was it. He just got out of his car, looked, saw it, closed the door, walked away. And I'm like, is he not going to put his car down?
Do crazy
People
shit.
Do not care, especially when it comes to driving.
You know, and
especially when it comes to driving.
It just further amplifies the whole idea that nobody cares. Everybody's in it for themselves. Nobody thinks, and it's like just the littlest gestures can make everything so much easier. Because there's a lot of people out there like I'm teaching my 15-year-old to drive right now, and I don't remember the other two being this challenging. He's a work in progress. But when it comes to the road and to parking, it's like, I don't know. I think we should start a movement to try and get this to go.
It's not going to work. People suck.
Jesus,
they don't care about anything except for themselves. No, they do. I mean, I told you I run. I will run. And I mean, even common courtesy when I'm not running, if I'm walking down, if I see a runner, I will be nice and move over for them just because I am a runner as well. But I will run and people will sit there and still try to walk straight through me, not even care about moving out of the way. And I'm like, you just have to move a little. Even if I'm veering towards the left or the right, you can't just move her a little bit to get completely out of my way. People just don't care.
Wow,
it's really what it comes down to.
That shit's different.
Huh?
You're in New York. That shit's different.
Yeah, but still, it's still common courtesy.
Those
but you expect people to have common courtesy.
Angry.
Get out of the way now.
Well, and it's you know what? It's amplified. I live on a lake, and it's so amplified when you're in a boat.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's a high-rise apartment in a real shitty area.
You're like, hey, that's very nice.
we're just barely keeping the water off our head. And when people are out in their boats, man, they run the world.
I believe that.
You know, and it's funny, and that was not the segue I was planning on, but it's funny because I this week had to pick up a part for a boat, and I went to the boat dealer, and I've been to this boat dealer many, 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 many times. And I walk in, and it's huge. It's huge. They probably carry 15, 20 boats on the show floor at any time. So you have all these different models, all these beautiful boats. And I walked in there to get this part. They got 2 boats on the show floor. There's no boats available.
Wow.
Car dealers and boat dealers are just maxed out. They've got nothing. She goes, you know what? This guy just ordered this little whaler, Boston whaler boat, and it'll be delivered in February because they're so backlogged. Because they can't get parts, they can't find help. It's just a whole vicious cycle. But the reason why I bring this up is that the people who are buying all these boats have never had boats before. And they drive like assholes, and they don't follow the rules, much like they don't in their cars. And in the boat, it's different because in a car, you got brakes. In a boat, not so much.
Yeah.
So you get these stupid assholes that are driving through channels and driving through no-wake zones, not following the rules or nothing. Well, on top of all of the lack of people trying to help, there's no the police. The sheriff numbers are down.
Okay.
So I'm looking and I'm like, where are the sheriff? Who's policing this shit? You could completely sit and write tickets all day on any lake anywhere because all these new people who have all this time on their hands, who now own boats, are just doing their own thing. And it's like, we actually had a pretty tragic accident on the lake this week with a little jet skier dude. And and it's really sad. It's really sad. And we've noticed that the top of the boats that are now everywhere, everybody has a jet ski for their kid. And these things are dangerous as hell. It's been an ongoing battle because there's a place in town that rents them out. And so then you got like some Gomer who has no idea what they're doing, getting on a rental jet ski that they don't give a shit about. And they just thrash everything. And I got a buddy who lives over there by the rental place, and he's like, we're going to work to try and get them out of business because it's just become so dangerous. And it's really
that's scary.
funny because we talk about all this stuff with the pandemic and all the businesses that have been ravaged and all the things that have happened. But when you look behind the scenes, like the stuff that you don't even think about, like if you needed a car right now, you can't find a new car. I just got a thing in the mail. My wife's got a lease and it's not up till next March. And they're like, hey, bring it in. We'll give you, X over the price because we need cars. We don't have cars.
Wow.
I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to drive then? Then I got nothing.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
It's kind of the behind the scenes, but the boating thing is out of control. People
That's scary.
really got to get a grip. But I'm hoping that once we get fully back to everybody going back to work, that there's going to be a lot of boats on the market. Pick myself up something nice and cheap.
Man.
So, well, and it's the same thing. Have you been out to a restaurant lately? Like, I've been to the weekends. I normally hit some restaurants, and I got my favorite place. I love going there. I've tried to kidnap the soup guy multiple times because his soup is off the hook. I got to have this guy cooking for me, and I. What are you, a drag race?
Nothing. You can hear if I outside. That's why.
So I go to my favorite place, and the lady there knows me because I go there a little more often than I should. And she was just like almost bitchy, like we're so short staffed and we're so busy because people have been pent up for so long that now they go to these places and they're like, well, and it's like we can't find anybody to work. To the point where I was there for lunch last Saturday, and I'm like, if I work here, do I get to eat for free? I said, shit, I'll start working. She goes, well, if you're a host, you do, but if you're a server, you don't, because they make a lot of money. And I'm thinking to myself,
that's not fair at all.
Well, yeah, it is.
No, I'm talking about if one person in the restaurant gets to eat just because I have been in the restaurant industry for so long, everyone should be able to eat for free, not just one group of people that work there.
We'll table that.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
No. I mean, I get what she's saying, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But so I'm thinking to myself, every time I go there and, I tip at least $20 up to, whatever, to big.
Tipper.
You tip at least 20%, especially now when everybody's working their ass off. But I'm thinking to myself, if I work 2 nights a week there, and because I don't know, how many tables do you get in a night? And you're getting $20 a piece. I mean, you're going to bring home $500 easily.
That's lucky if you're getting $20 a piece, though.
Well, yeah, but if you're at a place where if you go there and have 2 drinks, with 2 people have 2 drinks, you're at $60 already. Well,
yeah,
$50.
But people tip. There's a lot of bad tippers out there.
Oh, is there
though.
really?
And then, oh my gosh, there's people that will leave you $1. There's people that will leave you nothing. It's
really?
Just.
Wow,
people,
you're probably a shitty server, though.
Oh no, honey. No, I was not. No, I was not. No, this is what the conclusion.
Our server was great, but she talked so fast we couldn't understand what she was saying. It made it very difficult to order.
That's true. No, I think what I was talking about with my mom and with my friends over here. I think because now everyone that's been in the industry, since we're getting this extra money, they're like, well, we don't want to go back yet because a lot of times we know when we have the bad nights can be bad. So there's these people who have never been in the industry are coming out and getting the job. So they just don't know what they're doing either. So
I believe that.
And then
I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. But so we sort of think it's that. That's why.
I think I've never done it. I think I'd be good at it.
You'd be good at it?
I think I'd be good at it. But here's my question. Do they notice one fry missing? Maybe one strawberry missing? Like maybe a pickle doesn't show up on the plate. Maybe
some people do.
Maybe there's
some people really, yeah. I'm being serious.
Maybe there's a swig out of your Bloody Mary. I don't know. Are they going to be mad at me for this? Because brother's got to stay hydrated and fed. I can't be working on an empty stomach. Not if I'm walking a fry plate out. Like I could eat one, right? I mean, that ain't a big deal. I watch.
You just sneak food like a lot of us have done who have fed at the restaurants. We just sneak food. We don't care.
You can't say it for real.
Yeah, this is the thing. When you're a server or bartender, you automatically become really cool with the cooks because they're going to decide your fate if you're hungry when you walk in.
I'm talking about just taking it right off the plate as I'm bringing it out.
No. There's people still do that. I will see servers take a little piece of calamari off and put it in their mouth and still bring it to the table. They do not care, especially when you're hungry. They're not. I mean,
you know what? This brings up a good point. Last weekend, the wife and I. Where the hell were we? We went somewhere, had a couple drinks, and then I had to go visit my mom. We're going to a meat raffle. And so we stopped at, I had to stop at Best Buy because I have one of these sound bars for my TV, and I dropped the damn thing, and it broke. So I had to pick one up. And so I go to this Best Buy in this area where we don't normally go. It's just a suburb that we don't normally go to. And I'm like, oh, leave that at Chili's. Let's run in there and get a couple drinks. So we run in there. And it's 2-for-1s all day, every day.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, red flag. And I don't want to, I don't want to be that prima donna, but I've gotten to, there's a standard, like I don't, I'm really, anyway.
Yeah.
We just came out of a pandemic. I got to be careful. So we go in there, not a person at the bar. And then the people there's like a couple tables in the bar that have people. And these people just have like I think what Chili's has done is we're going to give you lots of booze for free, and then we're going to charge you a little less than a good restaurant.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you so much food that you don't know what to do with it all. Because I look over at these people and I'm like, is that for two? Like you ordered that and that's what two people are going to eat? Like, no wonder why we're so fat in America. Jesus. So anyway, we sit down and I'm like, let's have, a couple beers and I'm like, hey, should we get some chips and queso? And the lady's like, yeah, our queso's amazing. And she brings it out, and I shit you not. It took so long to get this queso. I'm like, what are you guys milking it out of the cow? Where the hell? What's taking so long? So she freaking brings it out, and I shit you not. It was Hormel chili from a can.
Oh my God. I can't even deal with this right now. You know how much my love of food is.
Into the tray. And the wife and I are looking at each other like, I know what this is because I've made that at home. And the server lady comes over and she goes, isn't it good? I'm like,
oh my gosh. I can't even talk to you right now.
So right now. So at this point, I'm running through my head like, have you ever done this? I've done it one time where you're at a restaurant and they bring you stuff and it's like you eat or you don't eat or whatever, I didn't like it, I don't want it, whatever. And sometimes they'd be cool and they're like, want me to bring you something else, whatever, but they automatically bring you the bill, like here, here. So if I do whatever, if I do a voiceover and they don't like it, they don't pay me. Like I have to give them what they want or they don't pay me. If I'm a construction guy and I build something and it's not what you wanted, you're not going to pay me till it's right.
Yeah.
So one time I was at this Mexican place, and it's really hard to mess up Mexican food. I mean, really, come on. And I remember it vividly. And they brought this stuff out way later than everyone else, and they bring it out, and I'm like, that's not edible. And they're like, they didn't really say much, whatever. Well, I can take it back. So they take it back, and they try something else, and they bring it back. And I ended up just, whatever. So I just drank my way through the day or the night. But they brought me the bill. And I actually said, I'm not paying for that. Like, I'm just not going to. And if you want to alert the authorities, that's fine. But just because you bring me a bill doesn't mean I have to pay it. And I've only done it once because, I don't go to Chili's very often.
Yeah.
But I'm at Chili's that day. And I'm like, I should just give this the old no pay. Like, are you kidding me? This is $1 worth of Elpo, and you're charging me $15 for what's supposed to be chips and queso. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah. Here you go.
You had the same situation as me, because I just went to a Mexican spot on Tuesday, and once I see a hair on my plate, I'm just like, nope, this is disgusting. So I ordered like this little torta, and I ordered like a chorizo taco, and the chorizo taco was wrapped up, but then it was like the little lettuce with the tomatoes, and there was the hair. And I was just like, no, I'm sorry. I don't care if the hair is not even inside the taco. The hair's on my plate. I don't want to eat anything off this plate. And I thought when I returned it, as I was with a group of my friends, they were going to take it off. And it's not like a lot of money, but to my friend, I was like, well, they didn't take the taco off. My friend was like, well, it's only like this much. I said, yeah. But I said, the fact that there was a hair on the plate of the food I was going to eat.
I'll totally bring that up. I'll be like, hey, you left that taco on there. I'm not paying for that.
See, and I don't, my friend, it's just like, to her, I'm like, but I've had a lot of bad experiences where there's been hairs on my food and it's not been my hair. So it's just like, but I think just a respectful thing, regardless if it's on the food, but it's on the plate. So you just take it off to make it easier, Well, I was still going to tip you. Well, just I don't want to pay for something that's hair.
Yeah, well, I didn't order it with hair. I totally, I'll do that. I'll be like, hey, you left this on here, but, and if they don't take it off, then I'll just take it out of their tip. I'll just be like, well, then I'm not paying you for that, because you as the server should have handled that situation. Speaking of which, here's a callback for you. We're golfing yesterday with all the boys. And my 21-year-old, who's now working finally, he's got a job.
Okay, cool. Good for him.
He's doing the same thing as your friend. He'll hit a golf ball and it'll kind of spray, and he'll be like, it's just a ball. I'm just going to leave it and I'll hit another one. And I'm like, but I'm paying for those balls.
Yeah.
And you're going to go get it. Because I'm like, you're not in a price, you're not in an income level where you can just piss balls away. If you're not into this, then don't play. So I'm like, no, you're going to go get it. And it was like, God, come on.
Come on, people.
And I don't know what it is. I took a little breather from golf for a couple of years, and now I went to buy balls, and I'm like, holy shit.
It's insane how...
I actually bought used balls. Like, I'm not that good of a player, so I'm like, I'm cool with used balls, because the new ones are freaking $44 for 12 balls. Come on.
I'll send you some, this is going to sound weird. So my stepdad's retired. He actually plays golf. So he works at these golf courses and he gets to play golf for free. And I shit you not, he has a bucket full of balls that he's been able to take from the golf course. So I literally will mail you, I swear, some balls to you. I swear to God.
That's got to be inexpensive to mail golf balls.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but, they're Titleist. They're good balls.
You mail them to me and I'll mail you back some podcast swag.
Okay.
Hey, back to the Mexican thing.
Yeah.
So the wife's been on this little deal. We're eating healthy. And last night, all the kids are like, Mom's making vegetarian tacos. I ain't eating. I'm gonna go to Chipotle. I'm going to go wherever. My kids will drive 30 minutes to go to Chipotle just so they don't have to whatever. I'm like, whatever, and I'm always like up for new shit, especially if it's healthy. And I'm not that guy. I mean, look at me. I eat well. And, but I'm like, we'll try it. And she goes, and I got these new, because the big thing about eating healthy in the Mexican world is the tortillas. I don't like corn tortillas, so I got to have flour. And flour is like the worst thing in the world for a fat person, because it's if you get gluten-free tortillas, they're much better for you to eat because they're healthier. But if you've ever tried to eat a gluten-free tortilla, it's like falls apart in your hand. There's no reason to use it because it serves no purpose. It doesn't stay together long enough to get the taca in your mouth. So yesterday she goes,
sorry, it's the window. Stop looking at me.
Welcome to Daytona for the 500.
This is what I do hear a lot around here. I'm not going to lie. And welcome to Astoria, Queens.
She goes, I got these new tortillas. They're cauliflower tortillas.
Oh, very nice.
I'm like, all right, I'm in. Gluten-free cauliflower. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what we should do? Let's throw it in a pan and kind of like fry it a little bit. Not, just a little spray of Pam or cooking oil.
Yeah, of course. You should anyways, yeah.
Boom, boom. Oh, my God. And then we put beans and mushrooms and salsa and something else in there, a little something green. I don't know what it was. And holy shit.
Was it that good?
I could eat those for the rest of my life. Because when you fry the shell, the tortilla like that, there's a place in a town near here where we go to get pizza, and they have a cauliflower. Cauliflower is not an easy word to say. They have a cauliflower crust that on their pizza, and it's so good. But when you fry these tortillas, they kind of turn out that way in a little thinner, lighter fashion.
Nice.
I was
I'm
blown
definitely
away.
Try it out.
So there you go. There's your health nugget of the week. Go get yourself some cauliflower tortillas. Woo.
Definitely.
I don't even know how I got to that, but god damn, now I'm hungry. Son bitch. Hey, you found an interesting nugget about restaurants, how they're fighting back.
Yes. So I was doing a little research online, and just because I've been in the industry for so long and I do hate reading those really annoying Yelp reviews, there's an IG page called Takeaway Trauma, and restaurant businesses are finally firing back with the comments that people are lying about them. And so they're giving the responses when they post this online. So one of the ones that I found was this person named Lily wrote, very late and not even what I ordered. The place is called Grill King, and they responded, "Hi, Lily, your food was delivered 40 minutes. The driver gave it to you in your driveway where you were found throwing up. Hope you got in okay."
So
when I read that yesterday, I started dying. I could not stop laughing.
So for the layman's who listen to the cast, IG is Instagram.
Oh, yeah, Instagram.
It's the social media thing. So I like this. I like this a lot because you know what? I think if you're a person who fills out a Yelp review, if you didn't get close to murdered while you're at the restaurant, keep your opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to me that people who fill out Yelp reviews are either wanting free shit or they're just
they have no life.
Ugly people to begin with.
They have no life.
I like this, and they but how? But do you know? Is it real or were they just like?
I believe it's real because I guess a lot of people you can DM. It says DM like your inquiry, so like you can DM these people, and this is actually like a real legit site. Which I
have to have.
I'm so happy that people are finally firing back at these buttholes that just really do have no life.
You know what though? And I don't mean to interrupt your story, but a segue on this is I've used that a lot. I don't want to say a lot. I've used it a few times where I've gone to have a service done on something, and we're back to the boats again. I went to have a boat that I have worked on, and I basically dropped it off to say, hey, clean it up a little bit and put these decals on. And the guy went through everything, cleaned everything. My bill was like $1,500. And I was just like, this ain't going to work. Well, that's really, as a consumer, your only recourse to these people is, listen, if I go online and I explain exactly what happened, I'm not a pissed off Yelp person whose taco showed up late. This is obvious overcharging and abuse of the situation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I understand that part
of
it.
And if you threaten somebody with that and you tell them, you know what, I'm not going to slam you. I'm just going to explain what happened and let everyone else decide. They'll change their tune in a hurry. But when there are people who are being assholes and just making stuff up on Yelp, this is a great idea.
It's true. It's true. I only go on Yelp just because to see if people have gotten like actually sick from the food, because I've had food poisoning from restaurants and it's a very traumatic and horrible experience.
Right, but it's just a fluke, isn't it? Like food poisoning, like.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't want to see where there's multiple comments where I've come in here days later, I've gotten sick. I've come in here days later, I've gotten sick. That makes me a little. I mean, I got so sick from having food poisoning from sushi. I didn't eat sushi for over 2 years because of it.
Think of all the money you save.
There's another one I want to read to you real quick, which I thought was funny. The response, it says, after 90 minutes, we got cold pizza with chicken that tasted like rubber. The response from the owner was, "You lied."
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, if you have a chance, if anyone has a chance, please go on and check this page out. It's definitely going to give you some good laughs. It definitely. I mean, there's so many I could just read off.
We'll put a link in the show notes for that one. So what exactly is it? Is it a third party who's finding these, or because I've always if I could roll back time, there was a time where I thought about doing a segment on the podcast of just reading Yelp reviews, just like listen to what this a-hole had to say. I think it'd be a funny thing, because if you ever, obviously, like you're reading it for a reason, you want to avoid food poisoning or whatever, but if you go through and you have some spare time and you just read Yelp reviews, Some
it's insane
people
what
are
these people
very
write. And it's
creative
like
writers.
paragraph after paragraph after. I'm like, where did you find the time to do this?
Yeah, right.
It's very aggressive.
I barely have time to place the order, much less follow up with a paragraph or two.
Yeah.
Man,
yep,
so
I know.
We'll have to make that a running segment. We'll bring the Yelp reviews into the game. Are there any good other? You got any other ones saved there?
I mean, let's see.
That's all right.
Okay. So this one says small portions gone off lettuce in my dinner roll. They spelled lettuce wrong, which was sort of funny. In dinner, they spelled a Donna roll. Sort of a squirt of mayonnaise, really bad, not going there again. And then someone wrote, haha, what drugs are you on? We serve the biggest portions in Oxford. I'm like, they spelled lettuce, Lettice. They said squirt. They spelled it Sauirt, and then they spelled dinner Donner, Donner.
Wow.
Like you have to get at least some of your vocabulary right.
We got a breakthrough. Jeez.
One person wrote, thank you, my haters are my motivators.
There you go.
That's a nice one.
I think it's a nice opportunity because I really do think that because I own a retail store and luckily we've had good response and everybody's always been real happy. But I know as soon as something ugly gets out there, you're like, we didn't. It's usually and a lot of those Yelp reviews, it's like it's not the owner or the company. It's one individual had a bad day and they were being shitty, or your server wasn't whatever, or the boom a hair. Well, hair happens.
Yeah.
It's life. Yeah. It's gross, but it's life. Yeah. I mean, we live in the real world, so it's interesting. Holy cat sacks, we gotta go. We are running long. Too many segments, too much gold to record today. So what we're going to do is wrap this thing up. Everybody have a safe and happy 4th of July. Keep the fireworks in the air, not in your face. And tune in next week for the next edition of the DK Project. Thanks, Kristin. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
That's it. That's the end.
That's a wrap.
Read the shtick.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends. If you'd like to reach out, you can use the studio line at 612-504-6500 or by email, thedkprojectpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always social media at the DK Project Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.